The Pixel People Pod. Zap, 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 it's on. Rewind the future fraud. The Pixel People Pod.
Yep, it's that time again. Another episode. Seems like we do these weekly. Me this week, Greg. Say hello, Jan.
Hello, Jan.
And this week is returning from about a month and a half off, Janalyn. Say hello, Janalyn.
Yay! Hello.
Hey, Jana Bear.
So we have children of the 80s, me and Jan, and children's of, well, I don't know what you'd even call Janalyn. She's 14, so I don't know what generation that is.
2010s.
The 2010s? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This week, since last week's episode on horror went pretty well, this week I decided we should do it on just general Halloween from the 80s. And Janalyn, we're going to talk about some of the biggest costumes in the 1980s and it's going to really amaze her, some of these, I think. So as you know, we have segments on here, and of course the first one is Jan's Gnarly News.
Here we go. Jan's Gnarly News. Jan's Gnarly News.
Hit us with that news, Jan.
All right. Today being October 30th. October 30th, 1981, Halloween 2 premiered in theaters. Starring again, Jamie Lee Curtis.
I've never seen that one. I've seen the first one a couple times, but never thought about watching the sequel.
There's so many Halloween movies now.
Yeah,
I
and
should've
they
looked up how many
rebooted
there
it. Well,
are.
they didn't reboot. They kind of extended it. Danny McBride actually wrote the sequels, the newer ones, which is we did watch one of them. It wasn't bad.
Halloween
So,
2 picked up exactly where Halloween 1 left off.
I don't remember how one left off.
Well, Michael Myers was following Jamie Lee Curtis, who is Laurie, into the hospital.
Is that not his sister? Isn't there some kind of sister twist in it? I don't remember.
We're not going to give these plots away.
Okay. Well, spoiler, 50 years later. Okay.
On this day in 1982, Laura Branigan made her first appearance on American Bandstand.
Laura Branigan, didn't she
Who's
do
that?
I think she does the Fame. Doesn't she do the song Fame? What is it?
Janalyn, have you ever even heard of American Bandstand?
No, I don't know who that lady is either.
She
She did her hit song on that evening called Gloria,
Gloria, that's right.
and she was also interviewed by Dick Clark.
Yeah, I have no idea. who
He
that
used to have a
is.
show. Dick Clark had American Bandstand. I get Saturdays when it went there, and it was he would have kids on there dancing and stuff, and it went on from like the 50s, I
It
think.
went on
and,
a long time.
and he would have musicians on there, and of course they would lip sync, and he'd interview them, and then all these kids would dance to their music. It's really lame looking now, but back then it was kind of cool. You'd see bands that you liked on there,
People got famous
Yeah.
from doing that show.
but they had to lip sync and air guitar and all. It's kind of funny when you watch it now.
Yeah.
October 30th, 1982, Disney's Halloween Treat aired on CBS.
I've never heard of that. What is that?
You don't remember that?
Disney's Halloween Treat?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
It
Is it
rebroadcast.
like a Halloween special?
Yeah,
I
it was
guess.
a Disney Halloween special, and it was rebroadcast all the way through the 90s.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I wasn't a Disney guy though. Even as a kid, I wasn't a Disney guy. I like cartoons. I was a Looney Tunes guy. I wasn't Disney cartoons.
But this is on like regular TV, and
Yeah.
we had nothing else to watch.
Yeah,
So
I
you
mean, I
have
did
no
watch the
excuse.
Disney movies, but I don't remember that one though. So I have to look that
I
up.
didn't watch that much like kid movies. I watched like 80s movies with Jan and like
Yeah,
The Walking
you're right.
Dead and It and stuff.
Yeah, Janalyn at like 4 years old used to walk around killing zombies.
Yeah, CPS is
Yeah.
gonna come
And watching It.
Yeah, you hear a knock on the door at CPS wanting to investigate your parents for letting you watch stuff like that. So. What else you got there, Jan?
October 30th, 1985, Garfield's Halloween Adventure premiered, and The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown showed on right after it.
Okay,
So that was a great
The
night.
Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown's awesome. And it's kind of funny you bring that up because I learned something this week that I really never knew. Heathcliff is like the opposite of Garfield. It was, but when you think of Heathcliff and Garfield, which is the big one?
Garfield.
You think that, and I thought like Heathcliff. Even though I loved Heathcliff in the '80s, and I have a Heathcliff lunchbox, and I watched Heathcliff all the time in the '80s. I did not realize Heathcliff came around like 5-6 years way before Garfield. Garfield's like a rip off of Heathcliff. It just got bigger because through
He was more lovable. And
yeah, I guess Heathcliff was a scamp, but you don't even know who Heathcliff is, do you, Janalyn?
Nope.
Well, you know Garfield. Well, Heathcliff was the original Garfield.
he just didn't eat lasagna like
Yeah,
Garfield.
shout out to Heathcliff. He was
Yeah.
a rapscallion.
Greg, you want to feel really old right now?
Yeah, like I don't already. So,
October 30th, 1986, the 100th episode of Cheers aired on NBC.
I love Cheers.
I know
I've-
you do.
I've watched that show at least 10 times through the whole series. It's now I gotta start that series over again. We gotta put that on our list. Start over again.
Number one song, October 30th, 1982, Men at Work. You want to guess what song it was, Greg?
Down Under.
Who Can It Be Now?
Oh, I had 2 guesses. I got it wrong. Men at Work were good. Anything else?
October 30th was a great day in music in the 80s. Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA was
Was
released
that
in
really
84.
a great day?
Yes, it was.
I'm not a Bruce fan. And apparently America isn't either because this biopic bombed last week at the movies.
Well,
What?
that could be
Yeah.
because who they had in it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They had
Bad
a movie
acting.
about Bruce Springsteen that came out last week and nobody went and saw it.
Oh.
Maybe they didn't advertise well.
They didn't literally bomb a movie theater. It's a movie bombed. That's all.
Yeah, I know that.
October 30th, 1985, the Judds released their second album, Rockin' with the Rhythm.
The Judds?
The Judds.
Yeah. Do you know who the Judds are, Janalyn?
Nope.
They were a mother-daughter country combo. They were big. The Judds were big for a long
Yeah,
time.
they had some
Wait,
really
I've
good
probably
music.
heard some of their songs.
Yeah, you probably do. If you saw them, you probably recognize them from just TV over the years.
To be country, it was
Yeah.
really good music.
Didn't listen to 'em.
October 30th, 1985, Anthrax released their album Spreading the Disease.
Yeah, I know me some Anthrax, and hopefully I'll be seeing them next year. Yeah, Anthrax, that's my band, not the Judds.
Also, October 30th, 1987, George Michael released his debut album, Faith.
Man, Chris missed out on this one.
I know. Can you name any of the 4 songs that hit number 1 on that album?
Faith.
Faith.
And, was it I Want Your Sex? Is that on there?
No.
Okay. I don't know what. What's
Father
that?
Figure, One More Try, and Monkey.
I don't know any of those but Father Figure. So
That's a lot of number 1s on one
I think I
album.
listened to more Wham as 80s pop before than I did George Michael.
It sold over 20 million copies worldwide.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. He was huge.
Yep.
So, and he was a great singer. If you want to know how good a singer he is, look up him singing on the Freddie Mercury tribute concert when he took over and singing for Queen and did Somebody to Love. He should have became the new singer for Queen if they wanted a tour. We missed out on that years later with him dying.
Yeah.
He would have been a great front man for Queen.
Now they have who? Adam Lambert?
Yeah, and he's good too, but George Michael just like a whole different level.
Yeah.
You know.
Adam Lambert's really good.
Yeah,
though.
he's good.
October 30th, 1989, Joe Satriani, the guitarist,
Satch.
released his third album, Flying in a Blue Dream.
Satch holds the distinction of playing guitar in one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time, Deep Purple. Took over when Richie Blackmore quit, finished the tour with him, and Chickenfoot, and now he's out playing with Sammy Hagar, doing
Yeah.
all the Van Halen hits. So
Great
for,
guitarist.
Yeah, great, good for Satch.
October 30th, 1982, Hank Williams Jr. had 9 albums on the Billboard Top Country Albums.
Yeah.
9.
Gosh.
Do you know
That's
who
a
Hank?
lot.
Do you know who Hank Jr. is? No,
No.
he was big. He's great. He did the theme song for Monday Night Football.
I don't know who that is either.
Okay.
October 30th, 1988, we were graced with the presence of the Energizer Bunny.
Oh yeah, that was the Energizer Bunny, one of the great advertising themes ever.
We have an Energizer Bunny here in the Pixel
Yeah,
Underground.
we found that we went into some big antique store in Boone,
Boone.
and I mean it was 2-story, like tons of. It was probably 30,000 square feet, and the only thing we found in our 80s was the Energizer Bunny, and even then when we found it, we thought it was cool, and we had to Google it and found out that was 80s, and so we got it. It's sitting on the shelf. I had to post a picture of it later on the Facebook page.
He marched to the beat of a different drum, and he's been going and going and going
Yes.
and going.
Do you know the Energizer Bunny, Janalyn?
Yeah,
Okay. Hey, we found one you know. So, Janalyn, you got something to add?
I do. The Stranger Things season 5 trailer came out earlier today,
Ooh.
and I thought it
That's
wasn't
very
supposed to come
gnarly
out
news.
yet, but it did, and I watched it, and it looks good.
Yeah, Stranger Things, new TV show, but set in the 80s. And if you're a fan of the 80s, you should really be watching that show. I know it's taken 10 years to rattle off 5 seasons of that show, and how they're going to make them still look like they're teenagers when they're all grown up now. But
They actually still do look like it. They all
Yeah.
look pretty young.
It's amazing what makeup and hair can do.
yeah, and the outfits throwing back that era. So,
Yeah.
but that show is if you're a child of the 80s, it's a must watch. It's really good.
Each episode makes you feel like you're watching a movie.
Yeah, we had the theater down here in the Pixel Underground. It's a 150-inch screen with a projector. I've took pride in setting that thing up and putting Dolby Atmos sound. And so me and Jan started watching Stranger Things upstairs on the regular TV. And then one time we were down here and we said, let's watch an episode of Stranger Things. And we realized they have really put time and money and effort into making each episode like a movie because they really need to be seen. I did see where the premiere is going to debut on Netflix and certain movie theaters. And if you watch that show,
Movie theaters?
yes. And if you watch
Wow.
that show and you really want to experience it, go watch that episode in a movie theater because you are lacking if you're watching just a regular small television with no surround sound because each episode is a movie. I'll give them credit; those guys have done a great job.
You
on
can
that
get
show.
just engulfed in the episode.
Yeah, it's like watching a movie every week. It's awesome.
Janalyn, did you learn anything from the trailer that you think we might need to know?
It looks crazy, and I know something's gonna happen to Will again.
Well, poor Will.
Oh,
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I caught from it.
Okay.
And there you have Jan's gnarly news.
Oh, gnarly!
We have one more segment here that we do each week, and this is errors and corrections because I like to screw up a lot.
It's time for errors and corrections, 'cause Greg screwed up again.
I actually didn't really screw up last week. The only thing I could find that I messed up, and this is a small thing, I said that when I was talking about Blackie Lawless was originally from Wasp was going to star in the movie Trick or Treat. I said, yeah, he would have been great because he's like 6'8". He's only 6'4", so that was all we had.
Oh, Greg, how dare you?
I know. I don't know why I thought he was 6'8". I remember he's being tall for a rock star, but 6'8's like.
I mean, come on. Is there really a difference between 6'4" and 6'8"?
Yeah, there is because I've got friends that are 6'4", and yeah.
Do they look down on the friends that are 6'8"? I mean, look up.
Well, like Paul, our friend Paul is 6'4", and you think about that. He's tall, but and Chris, I think the Podfather, Chris,
You
I
have
think
some
he's
tall
6'4",
friends.
yeah, but 6'8"
And
is
a tall wife.
yeah. I'm the short one here. So Janalyn's probably getting close to getting taller than I am.
Yeah, I think so.
Poor me, poor little short stubby me. So,
That's okay. We love it.
So anyway, this week's episode is on Halloween, specifically Halloween in the 80s. But with Janalyn here, we're going to twist it around a little bit. But before we get into that, because I'm going to read off, I found out through Reader's Digest, actually, so you know it's legit. The top 10, the top by year, 1980 through 89, the top Halloween costumes for each year as far as purchases went. So that's going to be good to rattle off. But before we do that, I thought let's tell that we can remember as a kid our favorite costume we wore at Halloween or something, our favorite candy we got at trick-or-treating, and the candy we hated. And I'll tell you right now, later on toward the end of this thing, I have listener submissions. I asked on Facebook if you had some memories like that, tell us. And there is one candy that seems to be everybody was, the majority was naming off as their worst candy, and you'll see. But mine, I was trying to think of mine. I don't know. I remember I've got a picture of me and my brother from the 70s wearing our Frankenstein masks. And I was big into Frankenstein even then. As a kid, I just enthralled by Frankenstein. It just so creepy. But that's the only one I can think of out of my costumes that I remember liking. I went as a hobo one year, but we didn't buy a whole lot of the masks and stuff. Mom would make her own thing, or probably a hobo several years actually.
I think a lot of kids out in the country were hobos.
Yeah.
I was a hobo.
As far as my favorite candies, I got. You always wanted a candy bar. And if you were the lucky one back then that some rich person you went to their house and he's like, here's your full-size candy bar. It was the holy grail. But anything chocolate, I guess, was my favorite thing back then.
I don't remember ever getting a full-size candy bar.
I remember once or twice maybe. But one of the understated candy that I do remember that I liked that probably a lot of people didn't was I liked Tootsie Rolls. People that give me Tootsie Rolls, I thought that was great. Whereas I know a lot of other people would turn their nose up at it like, it's not real chocolate. But I like Tootsie Rolls. Janalyn, you like Tootsie Rolls?
No.
Janalyn
think
used to
they're
give me
very
all her
nasty.
Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, Janalyn, you're more in like sweet and sour candies, right? You're not in like the chocolate stuff as
Yeah.
much as, yeah.
But I
Kids-
don't like that much candy.
Although she did steal my Reese's pumpkin last night.
I did.
But that's all right. The worst candy is okay. I'll wait till I tell what the worst candy was at the end that everybody else was picking it, and I'll admit it's one that would be toward the end. You would always start off and eat all the good candy, and then like a week later you got down to the final ones that you
A
put
week?
off.
Your candy lasted a
Yeah,
week?
Mom and Dad wouldn't let me just eat the whole bag. You look at me, you think that, but they were like good parents. Like, no, you're not eating all that candy all at once. But when the two ones I remember that I really didn't appreciate One was an apple because my grandfather had an apple orchard, and you put an apple in my bag. I'm like, I can go to my grandfather's backyard and pick one. I don't need you to give me an apple. And another one was popcorn balls. The people used to make their own popcorn balls.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, maybe I'd
Those things are
appreciate.
good.
Yeah, now I'd appreciate them, but back then they don't give me a homemade popcorn ball. And then sometimes, and I bring it up on one of our listeners' submissions, I would get pennies. Sometimes people would give me change and stuff, and it's like I really didn't want that. I want candy. Give me your candy. Well, I never.
Well, if you get enough pennies, it can add up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I
Could
never
buy you
really,
a gum,
I never
like
really
a gum
tricked
pack.
anybody that ever giving me bad stuff. You hear in movies, you always say like, "Hey, old man Swanson didn't give me some candy. Let's go egg his house." Nobody really did that around here. That must be
Yeah.
a city thing because nobody here in the country was egging. We were rolling people's yards, but it wasn't because they didn't
You
give us
might
candy.
not have been, but as a teenager, I can remember egging a house.
Yeah, but is it because they didn't give you candy or because you
No,
just
it's 'cause we didn't
nobody
like
did
them.
it because they didn't get the right yeah. We actually
Why'd
rolled
you
our
egg a house?
Oh, Janalyn.
yeah.
I'll tell you sometime.
We actually rolled our preacher's house one time.
That's
So-
toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
egg it. We did egg somebody's house one time.
Oh my God.
Michael Hauser, if you're listening, yeah, we got some good stories about that. But I won't tell it on here because I don't know if the statute of limitations will run out. But there's about 25 people from Fred T. Ford from class of 89 and 90 that can tell a great story about egging a house. But that's for later.
And that was in the late 80s.
Yeah, that
but
was
it did
eight-
happen
that
in
was,
the 80s.
Yeah, that was our senior year. So, Jan, what was your favorite costume you remember as a kid?
Well, like you said, we did not get a whole lot of store-bought costumes. I mean, I was one of 4 kids. I can only remember maybe 2 years where I wore the crappy plastic mask. But we had nothing to go with it. We had to wear our own clothes
Which
with
is
it.
funny. You say the crappy plastic mask, and yeah, you think about that now. But I was showing my parents and Jan and us were looking Sunday about the crappy Frankenstein mask I wore as a kid was a Bing Cooper mask, and they're going for that Frankenstein mask now is like $100
Yeah.
if you kept it.
We should have kept those.
Yeah, those are highly collectible now, but they were garbage back then. And then you break the rubber band, you'd be like, oh man, you had to hold it up in front of your face then because the rubber band broke.
But I can remember making my own costumes. Even at like 7, 8 years old, I was sewing stuff together and gluing.
You could totally see her doing that, couldn't you, Janalyn?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was a bride, a cat, a cowgirl, a zombie, a ghost, a witch, a mummy. I used my sister's pom-poms to be a cheerleader. I was a farmer. I wore my brother's football jersey. I was a football player. Whatever I could find to make it. My very last costume that I sewed together was in 1988 when I was 16, and I made a skunk costume.
Skunk.
Skunk?
You were
That's
trick-or-treating at
crazy.
age 16?
Well, there's a reason why I made a costume at 16 in 1988. I was working then, and Halloween fell on a work night, so we all decided to dress up for work. And, little tidbit, I still have that costume.
You still have it?
I still have it. I was a
You gotta,
skunk.
you gotta show that to Jan.
I should wear it.
Yes, you should.
So, what was your favorite candies you got back then? Anything chocolate? Like,
Anything chocolate,
yeah.
anything with sugar was over the top for me. And my least favorite was apples and raisins. Oh my gosh.
I forgot when people would put the box of raisins in there. That was another one. Yeah.
Janalyn, we used to get boxes of raisins for trick or treat.
I liked those.
Yeah, but not for trick or treat. That's what you want your parents to buy you as a healthy snack. You don't want to get it in your Halloween bag.
No, you don't want to be all excited.
And here's the
get
thing
that.
too. It was never the big box of raisins. They dropped the little box of raisins in there.
I've had people give me those before, and I like them.
Yeah, maybe once a year.
Yeah, that's why you weigh 5 pounds. So. I also
I
forgot.
I eat a lot.
Yeah, I know. I actually
I
forgot.
eat all the time.
As far as my favorite candies, I forgot when you brought that up. Nerds, when Nerds came out, you give me a box of Nerds, I'm a happy guy. That was a good trick or treat candy.
I can remember being so disappointed year after year because we lived in Fallston and Mom would drive us around, all 4 of us. Sometimes cousins would get in the car and go with us. And I was always excited to go to this mansion in Fallston. And if anybody knows this area, it's the Stamey Mansion. Big 3-story house. It was the biggest house I knew of.
Stamey's
At that
own
age.
Fallston, so or
And
was used to.
it was owned by the people who did the funeral home.
And the store.
And I always wanted to try to peek in their house when I went trick-or-treating because I wanted to see how people that lived in a mansion lived.
Yeah.
But they never opened the door real wide, so I never really could see anything. And they gave out apples. I mean, it's such a disappointment for a mansion to give out an apple.
Yeah, don't. If you're rich, don't do that.
Yeah, you would think they would spend a lot of money on good candy.
When my nephew, niece, Avery, and Lindsay were old enough to trick or treat, we never have, because I live way down. Me and Jan live way down in the sticks, like behind, down a long driveway. Nobody's going to accidentally just show up and trick or treat here. You have to make a schedule to trick or treat here. But I knew when they were old enough to trick or treat, I made sure working in vending that I only had full size candy bars, and I would put honey buns, packs of donuts. I'd get enough for like 20 kids, knowing that we'd get like 5 or 6 at the most.
Because the ultimate goal was for you to be able to keep it all at the end of the night.
When they would leave, I'd let them get, that I had some friends from church, their kids would come and get stuff, but we'd always have that left over. Then I'd grab one of the honey buns that was left and sit and watch Ed Wood. So, it was, I made sure, even though I wasn't rich, you were getting a full-size candy bar. I remember I would not be the one that's going to give someone an apple. You deserve, maybe these days it's different, but back then you deserve to have your house egged if you gave somebody an apple. I'm sorry.
But hey, if somebody walks up to me tomorrow, being Halloween, October 31st, and gives me an apple, I'm going to be very excited
as
about it.
As an adult, I would take an apple now, but I'd be happy if you gave me a box of Nerds, So.
The costumes back then, though, were,
Yeah.
They came out and said how flammable they were.
Yeah.
And so hard to breathe in.
Janalyn, it was not Halloween it was big as a kid, but it was not the national phenomenon that it is now as far as costumes go. You did not have a spirit Halloween in the 80s. It's a whole month now of that. And so Janalyn, since you're 14, but what would you say is your favorite Halloween costume that you've had so far?
Honestly, I don't remember any of mine.
I do. You were a great hot dog.
That's what I was going to say, because it was funny. I don't remember any of my other ones except for a dead cheerleader or something. I still have the pom-poms.
From the dead cheerleader?
Yeah.
Well, carry the pom-poms and be a dead cheerleader hot dog. You can still fit in that thing, I bet you.
No.
Do you still have the hot dog
But I
suit?
am going to... Yeah, I'm going to bring it out tomorrow and take it to school for dress up for Halloween, and then the football game tomorrow.
You're going to
night.
wear a hot dog suit while in band?
Yes, I am.
That's funny. That'll look good.
But Janalyn, back in our day, there was no such thing as trunk or treating. That didn't come about till later.
I'll be nice. I won't say
we actually had to drive around to individual
I have thoughts on
houses.
trunk or treat, but I'll keep them to myself. So what was your favorite candy you got?
Either Reese's or the little bags of gummies, the really tiny gummies.
Okay.
Those are really good.
I'm asking now because, you're still going to get candy from us this year, so.
And Janalyn, when you go trick-or-treating, what do you put your candy in? A plastic pumpkin?
I don't know. What did I put it in last year?
Plastic pumpkin.
Yeah.
Pumpkin, usually.
Everybody puts them in plastic pumpkins now, but we used pillowcases.
We used pillowcases.
Yeah. I think I ended up having a plastic pumpkin later on, but I can remember many times carrying pillowcases.
We drug a pillowcase around, and that's what we used to put our candy in.
Yeah. So
I don't use a pumpkin.
Yeah. What?
Or bucket.
I use just a bucket thing.
Yeah. What would you say if you were trick or treating right now? What would be the worst thing somebody give to you?
A toothbrush.
I forgot. I did read that some people give toothbrushes out.
Yes, the rich people give out toothbrushes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We want candy, people.
Yeah, that's when you deserve to egg them.
I can remember as a kid getting licorice.
Yeah, don't do that.
But it worked out good in our family because my mom loves
your
black
mom is
licorice.
the only person that I've ever known that
so
loves black licorice.
If we did get it, we gave it to Mom, and she was very happy about that.
Yeah. If someone gives you a toothbrush now, if you had my permission to egg their house, and I'll pay for your bail money. So.
Okay.
We've covered our three. I want to read off. I did some research, like I say, on Reader's Digest, and I found out the top Halloween costumes by year through the 80s. And a couple of these are givens, but there's a couple that shocked me, and I had to double research and find out it is true. So
Double research.
Yeah, double research. I did. I thought Reader's Digest is the greatest. You know, they're not going to lie. But
Janalyn
then
has no idea what Reader's Digest is.
it was a book / paper magazine. It's a book, I guess.
Yeah.
What would you call it?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, we used to get it,
It
all
was
the time.
on paperback.
Yeah, my grandparents got it. Like, I don't know if it was every week or every month, but I would read it all the time. It was great. 1980, Jan, any idea what you think of 1980 would be the number one Halloween costume? This is not just selling, but what people are dressing up as then.
Something Star Wars?
No, you would think, but no. It was John Travolta / disco stuff. Saturday Night Fever was so big then that people dressed up as him or as disco stuff. I had to research at several things, so that cannot be right, but it was. Multiple places said that was the big costume in 1980. Do you even know what the Janalyn? Do you even know what the disco John Travolta thing is?
Nope.
Well, I'll show you pictures later. It's it's funny when you see it. 1981, Indiana Jones. I get that. You've seen Indiana Jones, haven't you?
I know Janalyn
Nope.
has seen it.
Yeah.
Yes, you've
Yes, you
seen the
have.
first
No,
one.
I haven't seen the full movie. I've seen parts of it.
No, but you know who Indiana Jones is.
yeah.
That was big then. So, 1982, I knew this before I even looked it up because we talked about it last week, and many people. There's one of my listeners' suggestions here, E.T. E.T. was huge.
Oh my gosh, I love that movie.
You love it. That shows you have no idea how big E.T. like just took over the country and the world back then in '82. Like E.T. was everything, including Reese's Pieces were like not. I found this out this week too that they wanted M&Ms in the movie, and Spielberg and them asked Mars Candy, "Can we put M&Ms in the movie?" And they said, "Well, maybe, but you're going to pay us to put that in the movie, and we want like all this free advertising and all this stuff." So while they were trying to haggle with that, he talked to the Reese's people, and they were like, "We got Reese's Pieces, and it's sort of they're not really selling that great, and we'll let you put it in there, and we'll promote it." And they did, and it just took off, and that saved Reese's Pieces, and it was like the biggest candy. Everybody Reese's Pieces took off. I don't think I even knew what Reese's Pieces was then until E.T. came out, and then it was like I still this day love Reese's Pieces.
I do too.
Yeah. I like them better than some M&Ms. That's me. But 1983, you're going to kick out of this, Janalyn. It was a tie, although I'd say mostly leans toward the first one. Michael Jackson and Madonna. So,
Oh, wow.
So a lot of girls are dressing up as Madonna, but a lot of the guys dressing up as, and probably girls were dressing up as Michael Jackson. That was when Thriller
I would
came.
have dressed up as Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Thriller came out. You know, that movie. Well, that album is still. I mean, our grandkids are still dancing to that.
We danced to it last night.
Yeah.
I listen to all of his music like all the time.
Well, 1984. Here goes back to how, sequels and how things still carry on decades later. 1984, the biggest Halloween costume, Ghostbusters. Everybody wanted to be Ghostbusters now. And yeah, and now I thought about this, which ties back into your news thing. In Stranger Things, that one season when they're all
I
going,
was getting ready
Yes.
to say that.
they dress up as Ghostbusters, all of them.
They
yeah.
did.
So 1985, yeah, I see this. Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. Everybody no, you could either put on the sweater and pretend, or you could put the money in the mask, and which I know people that did. And
Make a fake glove
Yeah.
with knives on it.
yeah. Like I said last week, my friend Paul has the whole setup and has the full pullover mask. He's had it for 30 years, and it's really good. 1986. This is one that really shook me. I didn't get this. I don't remember this, but by then I wasn't trick-or-treating. The California Raisins. People dressed up, and I thought this can't be. Now, they were big. We have the whole set of California Raisins here in the basement down here, and a plush that Jan found. But I looked it up. I thought, this can't be right. 3 different things reported, yes, the California Raisin phenomenon. Kids, adults are dressing up as California
That'd be
Raisins.
such a hard costume to pull off.
Yeah, I don't.
Because I do remember Janalyn walking by our California raisins that are on display in the Pixel Underground.
Yes.
And she said, Jan, I love your taters.
I mean, I don't know how you dressed up at it, but hey, they did, and it was a huge, huge costume. I'll have to look that up. When I put the stuff up on the Facebook page later. I've got to find some California raisin costumes to see what the whole phenomenon. Because like I say, I was,
I don't know how they would pull that off,
Yeah.
like looking like that.
It's got to be something purple. You'd have to just, I don't know. I guess you buy purple sheets and sew 'em. I don't know.
I'm naturally lumpy. I don't know how you create that synthetically.
Of course, by '86, maybe there were the costumes were in the store. Everybody just buying the store costumes, and putting like a California raisin mask over your face. Who knows?
Yeah.
1987, and this is funny, but it's Alf, and Alf was huge then. You know Alf, right, Janalyn?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, last week on the hospice resale place here in Hickory, they had an adult Alf costume up for sale for $50. And I almost called and told him to hold it. I was going to come get it, but then I thought, I don't need that whole thing. And we have enough Alf stuff down here. It's like, imagine it is old, and I can't imagine the
Probably
stink coming out.
smelly,
Yes, it was
yeah.
a full like zip up.
Oh yeah, somebody
Yeah,
sweated in that
I was
thing.
like, I don't want that thing. So here we go again, 1988. This is Janalyn, a 14-year-old, knows this and knows it well. Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Beetlejuice was huge in '88, and people were dressing up. And I read it, not just Beetlejuice, they were dressing up as, Winona Ryder's character. The whole phenomenon of the movie, people were dressing up as.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the last year of the decade, 1989. And this one was one that I kind of figured out before I even looked it up. Batman. Batman took over in 1989, like the whole summer all the way through the end of the year. Michael Keaton is Batman. And I read it wasn't just Batman. It was people dressing up as Batman, people dressing up as Joker. It was huge.
Mm.
So,
Speaking of the Joker, Isabella's being the Joker tomorrow, and I was going to be Harley Quinn, but that's too much work for me.
yeah, that's a lot of work.
So she's going to be the Joker as she plays an instrument in band.
Yeah.
She's
This
gonna-
ought to
So I
be
don't know how she's
interesting.
going to pull off the makeup, but
And you're going to be a hot dog.
You just have to do your
Yep.
face white and dye your hair green. And
well, she did it.
Yeah.
Like she's done the look, but how's she going to play trombone like that?
Eh,
It's going to be
you
interesting.
just need some purple jeans, and it's just makeup. So, but that was the costumes, and they were very interesting looking that up. It really shook me. I never would have thought in my life I want to be John Travolta. Maybe from Pulp Fiction, but not.
From Greece, that would be an easy
Yeah,
costume.
well, that's what they were saying. They said that from like the late '70s into that, between the Welcome Back, Kotter, all that stuff, the Grease, the Saturday Night Fever.
Which is actually dressing up like from 50s era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some interesting stuff delving into that, but like I say, I don't remember. I didn't dress up as anything like that. Other than my Frankenstein mask, I don't think I was anything that wasn't something you couldn't create on your own, like a farmer or something. So that brings us to, we'd asked, hey, give us your thoughts, the listeners, and what your favorite ones were and all that stuff. So Janalyn, you got to hear some of these. Todd S., he said he remembers he had a werewolf costume that was pretty cool. So that that's one that's timeless. The werewolf, you could do that forever. And his favorite candy, of course, is Reese's peanut butter cups. Which you just said a minute ago, your favorite was Reese's.
Mhm.
You didn't like those up until like a year ago. You hated peanut butter,
I still hate peanut butter.
but you like Reese's.
Yes.
Yeah, which goes to show Reese's.
Some combinations are just good together.
Yeah, Reese's, it stands alone. I mean, that's the greatest. So
Yeah.
and here we're coming to a continuing theme right here, Todd. His worst will be those cheap wrapped artificial candies, and I know what he's talking about. And Jan knows it, and even Janalyn, you might know this. Although I don't know if they still give them out anymore, but people would give you, like, if you didn't buy the name brand candies, you bought the cheap Saunders, I think it was, candy or something like that.
Did they even have wording on them?
I don't know.
They were just plain.
You would get a black or an orange candy in a wrapper, and the orange was peanut butter, and it wasn't that bad.
was
It wasn't
decent.
great, but it was. The black, I think, might even been licorice, but it was, nobody ate the black ones. You eat the orange peanut butter ones because it was the last thing you had left, but that was always one of the last things left in your bag. Have you ever got anything like that?
No.
Yeah.
Just think of the
I don't think
cheapest.
so.
It just didn't even have a flavor, really. Just barely had a flavor. So
Yeah,
cheap.
Yeah. You could probably get it in bulk to people. So Amber S., she was her favorite was She-Ra from He-Man. That was her favorite costume. I remember watching He-Man as a kid. I think She-Ra was like, I don't think it was his girlfriend, but she was the female character on there. And her favorite candy was Twix or Kit Kat. And when she said her worst candy, I thought, yes, I still ate it, but she's right. Was when you got the dots.
Oh, those were terrible.
Yeah, and then people
I
still give
love
them.
dots.
Yeah, see,
Oh.
that's why you're on here.
But
'Cause you
see,
give us-
those are down there with
Yeah.
with like Mike and Ike for me.
Yeah, you don't like Mike and Ike, but I like Mike and Ike.
I love Mike and Ike.
But Dots is made by the same company that makes Tootsie Rolls and all that stuff. So when you get a bag of the
Yeah.
Tootsie Rolls and all the mix, there's Dots in there too.
Well, give them all to Janalyn.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yep,
if you
I'll take them.
you get any dots this year, send them to Janalyn. So Robert M, he had a good thing here. He gave me a whole synopsis here. His best costume was the year I was a ninja. My dad made a sword out of wood, and it was awesome. This also led to my worst Halloween. My sister had been invited to a group Halloween event, and I got to go. I kept swinging that sword around, and my dad asked me to stop. I didn't, so he took it. I spent the first half of the night sulking instead of getting candy. By the time I realized I was missing out, it was too late. Everyone else was getting these large hauls, and I ended up with a very small haul. For a fatty like me, that was tragic. Best candy back then for me. And when he said this, it took me back, and he's right. I never thought about this, but he said best for him, besides Snickers, was the cherry Tootsie Pops. And
Don't remember those.
Tootsie Pop suckers.
Oh, yes, yes.
And when you got a cherry one, you had the Holy Grail. Those
Yes.
were awesome. Yeah, Tootsie, and I want one right now. I should have went out and bought a bag. But, and his worst was those black and orange wrapped chewy things whose flavor was a mystery. Going back to what Todd said, it's a recurring theme right here. And I'm going to add this, and I'm going to hunt for it tonight. It might take me in tomorrow in my digital pictures I have saved. But one year for Halloween, my nephew Avery, who's 22 now, he went, I don't know, Avery might have been 9, 10 years old. He went as Darth Vader, I think it was. And I had these lightsabers, these collapsible lightsabers. I still have one of them here. And so when he came and trick-or-treated that night here, his dad, my brother, and my sister-in-law, they brought him. And so Scotty my brother, started playing with him with that lightsaber. They went out in the yard. They took batteries and they lit up. And they were out in the yard, in my front yard here, sword fighting with the lightsabers. Well, Avery started hitting Scotty with it till he wouldn't stop. So Scotty took his lightsaber. Avery did not like his lightsaber being taken. So he reached over and just bit down on Scotty's leg. And I was taking pictures of their sword fighting with the lightsabers and have a picture of him. No, it was his arm. He was biting his arm. That's right. He bit down on his arm, trying to get him to give that up. And I have a picture of him clamping down on his... It was like the next picture, because I had my digital camera and I was just snapping away. And the next picture is him like being drugged in the house. I got to find those pictures. I got to post those tonight, because I thought of that with him swinging that sword. I can remember Avery swinging it. And Avery, listen to this. You got to reply because I know he remembers it. So that was a great memory I had of that. But so the next one, Cindy E. Best costume I remember as a child was just Cinderella, but as I got older, the best one was Elvira. The worst candy received was licorice. There you go. And the best candy was always Reese's Cups or Snickers.
Yep.
Yeah. There's going to be a theme of Reese's Cups and Snickers. There's a reason it's number one. Those are the number one selling candies at vending, because, you know. Janet L. Best costume I recall was one of those plastic masks that almost completely suffocated you, and the polyester costume that went with it. I think it was a black cat. The best candy was anything chocolate. She says her worst was those nasty Mary Janes. But I always liked Mary Jane candies.
Yeah, I didn't mind those.
Yeah, I didn't mind those, but I mean, they wouldn't be on my top, list. But I don't think anybody gives those out anymore, though. They're not really. They're sort of like a throwback candy. I don't think anybody's giving out any chocolate right now, anyway, because I know last year the price went up, and now they've really gone up, and people like you, Jan, are loving this because. Not Janalyn, because your generation loves like the sour candies, and so you're getting a lot more like Sour Patch Kids and Nerds and all that stuff instead of chocolates.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
So Deanna H. Deanna is a lifelong friend of mine, closest thing to a sister I'll have. She was this goes back to my childhood. We never trick or treated, I don't think, when it wasn't me, my best friend Eric, Deanna's brother, Deanna, and my brother Scotty. And both our mothers, Judy, their mom, and my mom, would take us to all the people in the neighborhood that went to our church, and family and friends, and we always trick-or-treated together. And she mentioned that she remembered this better than I do. She said 3 out of the 4 of us had black capes on one year. And she was a witch. My brother was a vampire, and we forget what the other one was. But by the end of the night, all 3 of the capes were torn up from sliding in and out of the back of the seat to get to the houses, and our mothers were cracking up. But that took me back to, like I say, I don't ever remember trick-or-treating as a kid without Eric and Deanna and my brothers, the 4 of us. It was a thing we did every year. Janelle W., the first was when, she lives out in the Midwest, I assume. The worst was when it would snow on Halloween and trying to fit those cheap plastic 80s costumes over our snowsuits. Then climbing in and out of the back seat, they ripped after the first stop. This is a good story right here. The worst, and this must be, I need to ask her exactly where she lived then because this has to be like a Midwest thing. The worst non-candy was the pennies we get from the funeral home, and the older kids telling us that there were pennies used to hold dead people's eyes shut. I can see old kids telling kids that and scaring that. But I remember getting pennies, but we never went to a funeral home. Did y'all go to Stamey's, Jan? And
No, just the Stamey Mansion.
so when she talks about Stamey's, yeah, Stamey's in Fallston. There was Stamey's, the family, but they also owned a big funeral home there and a big store. I think they trunk or treat maybe in the parking lot there now, but at the funeral home, I don't know. I can't imagine they're going trick or treating at a funeral home. Although if you think about it, it kind of makes sense though.
Janalyn would love that.
I think I would though.
Sounds really fun.
Yeah. What if you got to go in though, and like they run you through a maze in the dark? Is there someone?
Gosh,
Is there
that's
someone?
what we do after band in the school. Run around the school in the dark.
Candy's in one of these caskets, but there's bodies in the others. You get to figure it out. This is a good one. Jason K. Remember the bike scene in E.T. where Elliot and his friends take off into the sky with E.T.'s help? The Halloween after the movie, and my mom made me, this ties into our costume thing, made me a paper mache E.T. head, and my dad made a basket to put in front of my BMX where the E.T. head was placed. As a bonus, my dad made and turned a big box into a box of Reese's Pieces candies for my sister to wear, painted it orange, made it look just like the candy package. Our little town had a Halloween parade costume contest every year. I don't remember if I won, but I had the coolest costume that year, and that was all that mattered to me. See, that's the only thing I can think of my childhood that I kind of missed out on is living in the country. You had to pile in a car and go trick or treating, and I know like so many of my friends lived in developments and all that stuff, and they would just get to go out and just go walking and go to all these houses. You see it in movies, and you see like I never got to experience that. Ours was always in a car, you know. It's like we didn't get turned loose in the neighborhood and go
Or
hey,
at church.
yeah, or say go hit. You know, you see in these movies, and it's. I mean, I guess it's legit. It's too many movies to be fake. We just be like, all right, we're gonna go hit this block, and then we're gonna go down and we hit the other blocks, got better candy, and go do. Like no, we went to the 10, 12 houses that relatives and family and friends, and then we came home. We didn't lack for candy. You went to enough houses, you made it. You know, you got candy, but just going out with your friends and walking, that would have been cool. You couldn't do that now. I don't think people let their kids just walk in developments now. I wouldn't.
No, there's no way.
My friend William Bilsey, he said, we never had to worry about razors in our apples. That was.
True.
Do you have you heard that, Janalyn? When we were kids, it was
What?
like when we were kids, like one nut job put like a razor blade in an apple or slipped it into a candy bar, and then it made the news, and then that's all you feared for the rest of your childhood trick or treating was parents inspect your child's candy because someone's probably put a razor blade in there, And
That's crazy.
yeah, it never happened. I never had it happen.
No.
Yeah.
Never found
Well, now
anything
they're
that wasn't
wearing
supposed to be there.
drugs.
Yeah, and now that is one thing now though,
Mm-hmm.
the gummy bears and stuff that they tell you watch it because it's weed gummies and stuff, and make sure your kids are not chewing the wrong gummy bears. I got one more here. It's from Daniel L. This one Halloween I remember I was always shy, and being the new kid in school, I didn't have many friends. An older mentor of mine helped me create a costume for me to go, and I went to our school's Halloween dance with my costume helping hide my identity. Things were going well until I ran into my bullies in the bathroom. They were dressed as skeletons and very scary. They chased me away from the dance, and I thought I was done for, but luckily, my adult friend who knew karate beat them all up. That was so memorable. Decades later, the bullies and I are friends now, and I own multiple car dealerships, and the bully runs the biggest karate dojo in the valley.
Nice synopsis of Karate Kid.
Did you get that, Janalyn?
What?
Pay attention. I just read off
I'm sorry, I was zoning out.
I just read off a whole scene from Karate Kid movie. I was going to see if anybody got that.
I love Karate Kid.
Yeah, well, there you go. Daniel LaRussa, he wrote in. Big fan of the pod, he said. He's supposed to be sending us a bonsai tree. Yeah, and then last one I said Julie B. She wrote that her least favorite was those standard plastic masks because they were filled with breath condensation, and the wimpy little elastic string would always break from the mask before the night was over. And yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I would have to repair them.
And I had asthma as a
Yeah,
kid,
yeah,
so
yeah.
imagine
those,
that.
Yeah, those are the worst thing for asthma. Favorite treat was anything other than my least favorite apples, even if they were caramel or candied. Now I'm going to disagree with her on that. If you dropped a caramel or a candy apple in my bag, hey, good on you. You're a great. You will not. I will fight people from egging your house if you're putting that. Matter of fact, I would prefer that. Somebody, if I went to a house and you could have 5 houses gave me a Snicker, but you put me a candied apple in there, hey, you're tops on the list that year. She says, I don't even remember if Fun Size even existed then. I guess, yeah, Fun Size, but they didn't call it Fun Size then. Weren't they back in the 80s?
I don't
They were
remember.
just small candy bars. Seems like we got regular size stuff back then. Worst, and this is what you see in movies and TV shows, and she really had it happen to her. Worst I ever got was a Bible passage from an anti-Devil's Day person. And I've seen that in movies and TV shows where, the people that think that the devil is out in full effect on Halloween. That was the last thing to end this on, I guess, is she said her best memory is just the overall feeling of freedom, being out in our town to hit the town and don't come home till the pillowcase is full. That was a great night as a kid, and you don't trick or treat as much now. They just don't now, and I think that's something that
Because a lot of it's turned into trunk or treat.
yeah, trunk or treat sort of took the fun out of that, but it's still my favorite holiday. I mean, everybody else's Christmas, Halloween, I love Halloween. Jan's got some stuff here. Jan, what you got?
Well, I was just sitting here reminiscing about how we used to celebrate Halloween at our church in the 80s.
Really?
They used to go all out. Every Sunday school room would be decorated different.
Huh.
And the lights would be out. I mean, it was scary. It was actually scary.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'd have a candle in the room or something. But like one room you'd go in and it would have a box with a hole in the top of it, but you could barely see it because, again, the lights are out. And they would tell you to stick your hand down in the box.
Oh, yeah.
You'd feel this stuff, and they would tell you it was brains.
It's spaghetti,
And
wasn't it?
yeah, we learned later. I mean, they would let us go back through it with the lights on and see everything that we touched. One room, you'd stick your hand down in there, and they would tell us it was eyeballs.
Yeah.
But we learned later it was grapes with the
yeah.
peeling pulled off,
Yeah, you had
which
to
felt
peel it
even
off, yeah.
worse. But each room was, something different. I mean, what's better than seeing your deacons dressed up as mummies and
Well,
zombies?
see, your church was way more fun back then than mine was, which is your church now, because I remember in the late 80s, early 90s, we had a fall festival, and our pastor we had then said, dress up as anything you want, but it can't be horror or evil. And he was like, hey, dress up as your favorite Bible character. I don't remember what I dressed up as, but I have pictures somewhere of this. We all listened to what he said and dressed as, I might have been a doctor or something, we dressed as normal stuff, nothing horror. Paul, our friend Paul, shows up as like the evil butcher doctor, and you see him with blood all over his shirt. It's like he did not listen. And you see these pictures. I have the picture somewhere of everybody dressed up as normal, then Paul covered in blood. It's like the one long guy. He just marched to his own drum. He's like, I'm doing what I want to do. So yeah, we used to have a lot of fall festivals. That was a big thing about Halloween too.
Yeah.
Was fall festivals.
After we went through all those rooms in the church, all the Sunday school classes, then we got to go do the germ slinging game, bobbing for apples.
Bobbing for apples. You
Yeah.
ever done that, Janalyn?
She probably has no
No, I
idea.
haven't.
Listen to this now. You think about how germs and everything is now. Back then, they would take a metal tub.
I know what it is. I've never done
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy that went before you was slobbering all over the water trying to get an apple, and then he get it, then you stick your head in the slobber water. Is that what you would do it?
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's basically what we did
Yeah,
for
and
fun.
we didn't think about it then, but I wouldn't do that now if you paid me.
No, I wouldn't either.
So, yeah.
Depends on who it was, but no.
Yeah.
It was Ralph Macchio
Oh, yeah.
or some of
I
those
would.
guys from The Outsiders.
Pony Boy. Ain't that- what's the guy's name? What's your favorite?
Yep.
What's your favorite movie again?
Outsiders.
Yes. So,
Oh, that's not my favorite, though.
what's your favorite?
Probably Fast and Furious.
Which one? 1 through 50. Name one.
The first and the second
I
one.
can't believe that's your favorite movie. such a serious movie as The Outsiders, and you come back with no Fast and Furious. You just lost some street cred with that one. All right, well.
Well, I only watched it because Paul Walker was in it, and I was like, well, let's watch this movie, and it turned out to be really good. And now I love it, and I watch it a lot.
Got bad news for you on Paul Walker.
I know.
Yeah, okay. So, well, Janalyn, thank you for joining us this week. We're
You're
gonna
welcome.
have Janalyn. It might be on the next one if we can work it out. We have her and Chris live because we have an idea on. We're gonna take 10 epic '80s songs, and Chris and Janalyn have to listen to them, and we're gonna rattle them off, and we want their thoughts on them and where they liked them, what they thought about them.
Janalyn, I hope we didn't blow your mind too much on how we used to celebrate Halloween.
You didn't.
Well, Janalyn, we're gonna let you go. So, thanks for being on.
Okay.
All right.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
So, before we go, though, Chris, who wasn't on here this week, he's got a podcast coming out called Who Cares What Chris Thinks? And give it a listen. I think the first episode drops tomorrow. But it's about success and what it takes to be a success and what other people consider success that you might not consider. And the first episode is about his parents. And I think it'll be a really good listen. So look it up tomorrow. Like I say, it drops tomorrow. We're beating him by about 12 hours. So
Take that, Chris.
yeah. So, Jan, you have anything else to add on the wonder of Halloween in the 80s?
Just glad it's over.
Yeah, I think I am too. It's especially now that I have access to any candy I want.
It was so much different experiencing it with my kids and now experiencing it with my grandkids. And it has changed so much.
I I did enjoy the fun of it. You know, then you get to that age where you're not trick or treating anymore. You know, that's for little kids. But then as an adult, you know, not having kids, but when my niece and nephew come over, Lindsay and Avery, and I just loved giving them candy and seeing what they dressed up as that year. It was so much fun. And then now with my grandkids, and you know, it's a whole different experience, but it's a lot of fun. I just hate that they don't get to experience a lot of it that we did. It's just the whole trick or treating thing is sort of dying out. I don't think it's necessarily the fault of trunk or treats. It's just overall people just don't do that stuff anymore, and people are separating. People don't do community stuff like that anymore.
Although in the past couple of years, our grandkids have rode around through their neighborhoods up in the Hickory area with some of their friends. So that's as close to the 80s as they'll get.
We just named off, I had the costumes of the 80s, and a lot of those, right now, Beetlejuice, that's big in the last year. Ghostbusters is back. Batman's as big as ever right now.
Some things from the 80s were meant to stay.
Yep, including us. So we're going to sign off now.
Shine on.
The Pixel People Buzz.